I rolled out of bed Friday morning to log on to a license credit webinar, only to find out that the one I signed up for happened yesterday. What to do with a free Friday? It seemed a bit too early to play with my beer studio, and the weather was far too nice to stay inside. After confirming that the weather would be friendly for at least a few hours, checking the forecast and the flight ceiling for an area I had long wanted to explore, I charged up some batteries for a short adventure. After frowning at the temperature, I headed out, hoping for some quality FPV time. Of course, I took a spotter along for the ride. My first stop was a side excursion for work to check on a test plot. I took a quick photo with the DJI Mini 2 to compare to an earlier shot, and decided to grab a lunch before heading upriver. After a burger looked out of reach, I decided some beef-flavored sawdust would hit the spot.
Hey, how's it going today?
I was immediately offered an executive position. As I already had plans, I declined the offer and headed upriver with lunch in hand. My plan was to check out the trail at the Asotin Slough. Located just south of the boat ramp, the area is popular with beachgoers, dog walkers, and birders. The canyon birders deserve special mention for helping to restore the area and improve habitat for both year-round and migratory bird species. At this point, you're probably wondering why I haven't washed my windshield. I'm wondering the same thing. The road in was especially well maintained. After finding a trailhead hidden behind the sign, I started down the path to explore. The slough is a wildlife habitat unit, and even though it was winter, I wanted to be certain I wouldn't be disturbing any wildlife or fellow explorers. While I scouted for both, I considered how I might film the area. I guess the trail goes that way. Wow, that's cool. I have to remember that. I made a mental note of places to cruise with the Avata. A pilot was making a repeat pattern across the canyon, which was a bummer as I had entertained the idea of cruising the basalt peaks above the river. I don't know what that guy's doing. I grumbled about it to myself and moved on. Habitat management units occupy a unique niche among the patchwork quilt of public lands. HMUs were set aside to provide habitat for wildlife as well as hunting and fishing opportunities. Even in a habitat management unit where hunting is permitted, it's still important not to disturb birds during nesting season. And you might think, surely there aren't any birds nesting in the Pacific Northwest in the winter. You'd be wrong. Great horned owls, for example, are exceptionally early nesters and have been known to lay eggs in January. I wasn't expecting to see anything by the time I reached the end of the tree canopy. I stopped to take in the view as I emerged onto the flats. I took a quick photo before continuing on the trail. It didn't appear to get much traffic, and there wasn't much to see, so I quietly soaked in the January sunshine and took a couple of photos at the end of the trail before turning around. On the way back, I thought about the flight path I'd like to take with the Avata. Cruising up the small channel in the slough, then doubling back to follow the trail through the twisty trees, seemed like the obvious choice. Capturing a passing jet boat would be the frosting on the cake. Then I realized I should probably watch where I was walking before I tripped. I was excited to fire up the Avata as soon as I got back. Shortly into the flight, I was to find that I had done a poor job of planning for the many twigs and branches crossing my intended flight path. Losing signal here would be disastrous. Time to head back for Plan B. I was much happier with the second half of my flight. I discovered later that a more popular trail lay just west of the one that I took. For now, it was time to head home. I had planned on editing and uploading as soon as I got home. Those plans were cut short by an unpleasant tachycardia episode. Life is short. Get out there.